What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, back in the old setting. I figured I'd do one today. Today is the day of the VGAs. It hasn't happened yet. So, this video won't be covering that, obviously. We will talk about that in the next video, obviously, when I get a chance to watch through it and stuff. I know it's a pretty long show, whatever, but we'll get through it. But today, it was a lot of things have had. First of all, shout out to VG Fight School. He's putting in work. He's a professor. He's a teacher. He's very articulate. He knows the words to use. He knows how to. I don't want to say defeat, but he knows how to combat these ponies with their half-ass asinine arguments, and it's pretty easy. And it's simple. Like when he explains it, it's like, yeah. It's like you just ask them a question and they can't answer it. And you ask them the same question, they still can't answer it. They give you something else. They try to deflect. They do this and that. So once again, shout out to VG Fight School. Alex is in there talking about these fools. And was it Alex that talked about Crap Gamer? Or was it Sigs and Serial? I don't know. All of them for Tanga, they're all like a Voltron of just pony smashers. Pause, not like that. But I'm trying to remember exactly what Crap Gamer said. But he was talking about the 30% that PlayStation makes off of Xbox games on PlayStation, right? And how that's better than 70%. Mathematically, it's not. But then he goes, oh, but Xbox has to pay for the production of the game and do, all these caveats added on. And I'm like, 70% is still better. Oh, but PlayStation, all they have to do is sit there and collect the money. They don't have to do no work. I mean, he thinks that, but if they're hosting a game to be sold in their store, they have to host with who? With whom? Amazon. I think they're using Amazon servers. Like everybody uses Amazon servers. Even I think Xbox or Windows uses some of Amazon servers. I guess it depends on whatever the enterprise and stuff. So just to have coverage, But look, this is pony math, pony rhetoric, pony everything. Donkey unicorns will spread their nonsense, and then gullible people, the naive out there, will, oh yeah, that's true. And then it's like dumb. It's like dumbness personified. It just keeps multiplying. Like what? So it's that. Today I was watching. This is a tangent, but today I was watching. It was Sigs. Sigs was talking about how MBG was kind of begging for money. he has the sound effect of the coins and the cup. I was like, okay, that's good. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm the type of person that will never have a sub goal. Like, oh, let's get 25 goals, 25 new subs or whatever. I'm like, look, I mean, him, Reforge, begging for change. They want to do that. That's on them. That's their prerogative. But me, the way that I am, I feel like if you're going to give me money, I don't like taking money from people, right? So, but if you're going to give me money, I want to give you something in return. And it's not like, oh, it's my time, it's my talent. And no. I'm something tangible. So when I do a Patreon, I'd probably be through Patreon. It'd probably be the easiest way to do it. I'll have a track. I'll have music. And it'd be like, boom, here's a musical track. Boom, $1. And it's $1 a month. You get a track a month. It's an even exchange. I mean, you might not like the track of the month, and you might like it. It's like a subscription to the music, and I figure out the license on it. I'll let you guys use them, on your shows or whatever, but you just can't like make money off of them. I think it's a general something common something license. I don't actually remember the terminology, but You know, it's just a regular okie doke license. I'm not gonna come after you and try to cancel you. Be like, oh, shut that copyright. No copyright strikes. I don't like copyright strikes. Copyright strikes are dumb. Copyright strikes are for people who think that their stuff is, but actually sometimes I don't blame like the people who, the original authors. It's like sometimes it's automated and the AI just messes up and just does a copyright strike and you're like, what's going on? So yeah, I don't blame everybody for that, but I'm just saying. But yeah, so I feel like I need to give something to receive something. So that's how I look at it. So, and no goals, no none of that. Probably merch. Once again, buy stuff, you get stuff, and that's it. Easy, simple. Keep it easy. Keep it simple. It's no begging over here. I ain't got time to beg. Yeah. So, that's a whole nother, like, I won't call it I don't like using the word grifter, but it kind of feels like it's sometimes part of a grifter persona because they need to make money, right? And so them begging is part of it. And also them kowtowing and, conforming to whatever their audience wants to hear is that's definition of a grifter. Just, change it. Oh, negative Xbox news. Let me do that so I can make some money. I'm like, that's why a lot of these people who are content creators and this is their income, that's the issue. Especially if you're a fanboy content creator. If you're just like a general content creator and you got millions of subs because that's what you do and you're just doing your thug thizzle and that's it, that's fine. And like I said, I listen to Black Hakoge, TBH, the Black Hakoge, Hakage. And he doesn't like Xbox. I guess he prefers PlayStation more, but he hates PS4 fanboys because they're holding back the generation. But I would argue that PlayStation 5 is holding back generation. All their games are PlayStation 4 games except for like 2 or 3. It's a shame, but that's the reality. Nobody want to talk about it, but that's what it is. I'm tired of talking about it. And the sad fact, the sad state of affairs with PlayStation is that behavior is going to continue on to PlayStation 6. The PlayStation 6 it's going to be nothing more than a PlayStation 5 with better specs, but it's a PlayStation 5, which in turn is a PlayStation 4. They believe in generations. They want to keep them all alive at the same time so they can sell you games. They can sell 3 generations worth of customers games. Because not every PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 owner is going to go out and buy a PlayStation 6. Now, they may have, last video I talked about how the PlayStation 5 lost money Black Friday because they cut the price so low that they lost money on each unit. They lost money on Black Friday. I don't care how many they sold. They lost money, period. And Xbox didn't lose money because they didn't cut their price. Their prices were of profit. They're not losing money on each console anymore. They're selling above cost or whatever it is, or at cost, or probably, they're making a little bit of profit. And so they sold 10%. And I was thinking about that. I didn't really mention that. It's like I mentioned they sold 10%, but it's like they sold 10% without dropping the price. And so if we do the actual numbers, obviously Xbox made more money on Black Friday than PlayStation. Maybe I should name the video, Xbox makes more money on Black Friday. Xbox beats PlayStation on Black Friday according to revenue. No, according to profit. There it is. According to profit. I don't know. Maybe that's not it. Who knows? But it's just like all these little like arguments and stuff is goofy. And they're shifting topics again. There have been discussions, especially with C Money and Boom. They're talking about the Game Awards tonight and what they can kind of talk about, what they're gonna announce, and that's cool. That's exciting. They're hoping that they announce some hardware, but it'd be all right if they don't. We still got enough games and all that stuff so that it is, it's just, and plus next month will be the January showcase for Xbox. So it's like Xbox has so many like kind of media points where they can announce like big stuff, and they have so much big stuff that they need all of this. They need a January show. They need like a spring showcase. They need a summer showcase. They need like, game, the summer show, and then they need the Game Awards. They need all of them to spread out all their news, because I think the good problem that Xbox has is that they have so many bangers coming out, and there's so many of them. And it's like, the problem is scheduling. That's the best problem to have. As far as like gamers, we're like, yo, all these games. We getting all these games, son. And PlayStation, what y'all got? What games y'all? What's Wolverine? People saying Wolverine's next year. I don't know about Wolverine next year. I don't think so. I think Wolverine is 2027 for real. And also the problem with that, well, first of all, it's a PlayStation 5 game, period. Any game that PlayStation is announcing is a PlayStation 5 game. Don't get it twisted. You be like, oh no, Marathon. No, well, Marathon will be PlayStation 5, but Intergalactic. Oh no, that's a PlayStation 6 launch. No. That's a PlayStation 5 game that will work on the PlayStation 6. Don't get it twisted. They cannot work on PlayStation 6 games when they don't have PlayStation 6. Do they have dev kits out even? I don't even know. But that doesn't matter, because they'll have an enhanced mode or something for PlayStation 6. Maybe, if y'all are lucky. But knowing Sony, I mean, they probably will. But if they were smart, they'd be just like, nah, PlayStation 5 version, and just automatically upscale it and don't do no work. That's the thing. That's the main thing that has to happen with PlayStation. Like, Xbox is going there. They're already they're on their way to where they need to be, which is comparable to how PCs handle different scales of the game. So when Xbox releases a next gen, a Magnus S, let's just say, right? It's a small baby Magnus, mini Magnus, right? Not as powerful as Ultra Magnus, but it's a mini Magnus, right? It's just a scalable PC. It's a scalable code. So you'd be like, all right, boom, that's the mini Magnus version. Scaled up version, boom, that's the Ultra Mag. We don't have to recode anything. I mean, yeah, we have to supply upscaled, the higher resolution textures and such for the Ultra Magnus version. But that's about it. Of course, the file size will be bigger, but that's about it. So, the way that Xbox is handling and going forward is the right way. PlayStation, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to have a bespoke, oh, we got to do compatibility, backwards compatibility, and they're doing it on the hardware, which is, it's smart, but it's not smart because it's bespoke hardware, if that makes sense. Even though it's x86, it's still PlayStation, right? So just because they have an x86 AMD APU and stuff, a PlayStation 5 game doesn't work natively on a PlayStation 4 by lowering its graphics. That's the point. That's not how they make their games. And if Xbox makes their games like their next Xbox is basically can play the PC version of games, and it can adjust. It'll find the scale, say, boom, that's where the games are. This is where the Magnus games are, as far as if you want to build an AMD PC with AMD graphics and all that stuff, or Intel or whatever, that's this one, that's that one, blah, blah, blah. That's the Xbox. All the same game, just different boxes. That's what's up. And then also, this whole RAM thing, the RAM shortage, not the RAM shortage, but what capitalism these companies are doing to the RAM supplies, all these things, right? All the prices going crazy up and stuff. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but I'm gonna mention it now because it's been on my mind. I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks, ever since all this RAM and the prices went up and stuff. And so what I believe is going to happen in the industry, and this is because of what's happening with hardware. Regardless of what Xbox does, how they build their box, maybe they build a super powerful box, maybe they subsidize it slightly and it still be expensive. But I mean, that's all not the point. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a slowdown in the consumer side as far as PCs, as far as like I can't really say that because the medium PC is not that powerful, so that's kind of only enthusiasts. So I think what's going to happen, there will be a slowdown in purchasing and stuff because the prices are too high. Now, initially, I think there'll be like a uptick, but since the prices are so high right now, like I was thinking about, I was like, should I build? I was like, nah. I have an old like 5-year-old PC, right? I think it has an i5 or something in it. Trash, super trash. Graphic is the graphics card is so trash. A, it doesn't have a power supply. It powers off the motherboard. You know it's trash. And B, the fan is like this. It's so small. The fan is like this big, man. And so I was like, okay, this is trash. And it's an HP, so I have to figure out how to get a aftermarket power supply with more powers in it so I can get a new graphics card. That's a whole nother stuff. I got to figure that out. But my thing is that these devs, mainly the devs, are going to have to be more efficient and be more good at optimizing games, like for like lower spec, which was like the S, which is like the Steam Deck, which is like the ROG Ally S, the white one, and the X2, I would say, which is like the Switch 2. Those lower end of the generation, if you will, the moving generation, the fluid generation, the lower end of those devices that are out there by the tens of millions, devs are going to have to optimize those devices, generally speaking, so that they can sell more games. Because people aren't going to go and buy a PlayStation 6 when they have a PlayStation 5 Pro. Or when they have a PlayStation 5 and they're like, nah, I ain't spending $700, $800 for a Pro. It's trash, hot garbage. Or like me, I have an S, Xbox Series S, bought that a while ago. Then I got an X. I was like, I put the S in a box. I was like, I'll mess with that later. Do something with it. Maybe do developer mode on it, mess around, and see what's up. Options. But I'm gonna chill with the X for now, for a minute. I mean, I'm thinking about, maybe I should get the ROG Ally, the white boy. Because like I said, I got a super trip next year. We'll see how that works out. I don't know. And that super trip means I'm gonna need to have some entertainment. So I'm thinking about it. I might get the little one. I might get the little one. I might get the little white boy. I might get it. But point is, these devs cannot do what they've been doing this generation, where they say, okay, we're just gonna throw everything out and we're gonna use FSR and DLLS, SSS, and not Pisser because it sucks. All these AI frame generations and upscalers to do all the heavy lifting and the stuff that we don't want to do. It's like you can't do that anymore because your game ain't running regardless. Your game is running at 2 frames a second. You can't frame generate 2 frames. So they're gonna have to be more better, if you will, at optimizing the games for the lower spec so that the games would perform. They'd be more performant. And when they do that, it helps the higher games to the stronger systems as well, the stronger versions of those games on those systems. So I'm like, yeah, that seems like the logical. Now, that being said, that costs more money. It takes more time to optimize, blah, blah, blah. So that seems like the path forward. It's just a changing in the culture of development. Not like, just throw everything and use this FSR as a handicap, as a Band-Aid. No. You optimize it, make it as good as it can be on that hardware, and then you can slap some FSR on there or whatever. Because, like I said, people are not going to be getting 32 gigabytes of RAM anymore. They'd be lucky if they get 16. I was like, I think 32 gigs of RAM was was that 16? No, I think it was 32. It was like 180, almost $200, right? And they're saying, yeah, that was 80 bucks last, or it was, I forgot what it was. Well, anyway, in my laptop, I have 32 in it, but I bought that years ago, right? So I'm like, I'm good. I got my 32 gigs of DDR5. I'm good. And I use it for music production in Blender, not so much gaming. I mean, I guess I can if I want to, but I'm gonna be straight. I'm good with that. And plus, I have that secondary computer which I can use for I don't know, maybe I'll use that as I don't want to use that as a music machine because I like the portability of the laptop. So I like, boom, I got to go on a trip. Still got my music, still got I could do everything. So I've been moving away from desktop only because I've never had a super powerful desktop to justify having a desktop. That's the only reason why you should have a desktop, is that it's super powerful and you can't do this on a laptop, blah, blah, blah. But if you need the portability, get a laptop. Anyway, that seems like the path forward for these devs and for the industry. In the short term, when the RAM issues or the pricing or the AI bubble thing, I don't want to say pops, but when it deflates in a year or two, I'd say, I say earliest end of 2026, realistically mid 2027, probably just in time for the next generation. Although I don't think it'll be in time for it to affect the prices in a positive way as far as us consumers. I think the prices are going to be still high because they have to build these things during the higher pricing era or term or timing. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think us gamers as a whole will adjust to the different kind of the different hardware profiles, basically. Because I was looking at it, I was like, I mean, 32 gig. I'm stuck at 32 gig. Like mentally, I'm stuck at 32 gig. Would I do 16 if I had to? But when I look at the price differential, I'm like, I'll splurge because I know that having more, especially for what I do, music and stuff. And when you got all these plugins open, you need that RAM because them plugins be like yum yum yum. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have a really big, like, high quality. Like I remember I had this plugin called the Grand, and it was just a grand piano. It was about 3 or 4 gigs worth of data, WAV files, just the grand piano. And they had, the soft touch, the hard, the staccato. They had all the different on each note. It was the most beautiful sounding digital piano. It wasn't a digital piano, it was a grand, but it was it wasn't a real piano. It sounded so real. It was the best. And I don't know why I went on that tangent, but but oh yeah, the gigs. That's the only reason why I would have the gigs, that many 32 gigs is for that. So it's all good. I don't foresee the future being doom and gloom and all that stuff. But I mean, honestly, it's the capitalism that TBH says it, and I agree with him. And it's like the people call it the greed, of course, or whatever, and that's just part of capitalism. And that's one of the main things that will affect gaming. I mean, you see it time and time again. You see, like, Nintendo, what they're doing, throwing music tracks behind an amiibo paywall and all that stuff. And I'm like, that was not necessary to do that. But they want to make money. They want to make extra $30. They know these Nintendorks, Nintendrones, Nintendolts, whatever you call them. They want everything in the game. They love Metroid. They're going to buy the amiibo anyway, blah, blah, blah. Or they're going to buy amiibo because they want to hear goofy music and stuff. I'm like, hey, that's Nintendo. That's your boys. That's what y'all want. That's what, you let them walk all over you. They're going to keep walking all over you. They're going to put on roller skates and roll all over you. They don't care. They're going to make that money, And all these companies are the same as far as that goes. But it's about how you go. It's about the service and what you provide as a company to the customers. And is it fair? Is it worth it? Is it valuable to the customer? What do they think? And you look at the amiibo situation and the paywall, it's like, that sucks. That's stupid, right? And then you're like, oh, Game Pass. That's great for customers. But all the fanboys are mad because PlayStation doesn't do that. They don't do the same. They have their PSN Plus or whatever it's called. And it's trash because they don't do day-and-date games. And they won't because, once again, they're stuck on their goofy, we're going to sell consoles. And the evidence is clear. It's not about selling consoles. Sony literally said that themselves. They said, yeah, we're not using that metric anymore. It's all about MAUs. They said that. And these donkey unicorns are still not listening. They have hard heads, pause, and they don't want, they're knuckleheads. They don't listen. It's all good. Look, they don't have to listen. All they got to do is consume. Agree, consume, keep consuming. Oh, Xbox game. Agree, consume, keep consuming. Agree that Xbox is dead, but buy the game, the Xbox game, on your PlayStation, on your ROG Xbox, whatever you want to play it on, you can buy it. But they're dead, but still buy the game from the company that is dead. Makes sense, doesn't it? But yeah, look, there's no way to reason with a pony or a donkey unicorn. So, but some of them are more clever than others. Some of them have the gift of gab. For example, Crap Gamer could talk. He's an idiot, but he could talk. Does he have a greater wide vocabulary? A dearth of knowledge of different verbs and nouns and such as Reforge? Probably not. I think Reforge is a little more articulate. His vocabulary is probably a little beefier. Pause. But they're still in the same camp. They're still thirsty over there. They're still starving. They're on starvation mode. They still ain't got no games. So what do? They attack everything that doesn't matter. They make foolish arguments that are asinine and just like, huh? Yeah, that's the state of it. But whatever. Anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. Like and subscribe. Hit me down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the dummy unicorns and the donkey unicorns and the ponies out there talking shit. It ain't right, but that's fine. And like I said, the Game Awards is coming up. So I think it's in about 3 hours or so. And yeah, let me know. I'm gonna watch it tonight, and I'll do a video on it tomorrow. It might be another car video. I'm just saying, but I'm gonna try to do it at the crib so I can do the video and go through it and stuff. But it depends on how long it is too, because I know Jeff likes to make them long so he can put all them advertisements in. Anyway, I appreciate, and I'll talk to you on the next one too. To wait.